Hello, good morning, and welcome to another session of Schools Are Closed, but It's Not a Holiday. This is a Savannah Signatures intervention partnered by Educants International. Today is another session on mental health. So yesterday we started the discussion. I am Bridget Duduyeri. I'm sitting in for your regular host, Emma. And the discussion on mental health continues. So yesterday, we were told that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. I have with me in the studio Mr. Peter Mintir Amadou from Tolek, Ghana. And I also have with me Reverend Aaron Prosper Kubaga. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
So today's session is going to be on postpartum depression. Postpartum depression. We'll zoom in immediately into understanding what postpartum depression is. Those looks like very big words. Maybe Mr. Peter will break that down for us. So what is postpartum depression?
Thank you very much. To talk about postpartum simply means after an incident of, let's say, childbirth. So postpartum simply means depression that come as a result of childbirth, that mostly shortly after childbirth a woman begins to exhibit some level of emptiness, some level of lowness in mood, some level of hopelessness after childbirth. And so the woman, the diagnosis is made mostly after, basically like 2 weeks after childbirth. We understand childbirth is painful, is traumatizing, but that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of not worth it, should wear off some few days or hours after birth.
Yeah.
But if this lingers on for a very long time after birth, like 2 weeks, then this person could meet the criteria for being diagnosed as experiencing postpartum depression.
Okay.
But depression generally means that lowness in mood, lowness in energy, lowness in the desire to do things that you used to do. All of a sudden, this woman gives birth and doesn't feel like getting involved. Some people give birth and they don't even feel like breastfeeding. But the normal thing is that every midwife, after delivery, the first thing to do, cleaning up the child, is to put the child on the mother's tummy. And the joy is there to start breastfeeding some few seconds after delivery. But many mothers are not able to do this, and sometimes has some link to do with the mood that they are feeling at that time. It could be very low for them.
Okay.
Yes.
So, in this case, will we say that postpartum depression is basically the people who experience it are mothers?
Yes, exactly. So after giving birth, then you have that feeling of baby blue, which may be just for a while, wearing off within 72 hours. But if this baby blue thing exists or persists for a very long time, then you could be meeting criteria for.
You just said baby blue.
Yes.
What is baby blue?
So it's a sign that is experienced by mothers. That a sign of feeling lonely, feeling lowness and energy or emptiness after giving birth. But if this persists for a very long time after birth, then you want to talk about postpartum depression. That is after birth, the depression that is experienced after birth.
Okay.
Yes.
So how prevalent is this?
Yes, if we look at the world statistics, just like the prevalence of mental health is high, skyrocketing, same way, depression in our mothers, depression in our sisters, depression in our girlfriends, our aunties are also rising because attention is not being paid to it. Mental health has been neglected for far too long. In the sense that when you come to talk about mental health, very people talk about it. And so when it even comes to the mother, and many people are quick to say, oh, That was how I went through. When I gave birth, it was the same thing. But you see, we all experience life differently. And we all go through the challenges of life differently. So some mothers may go through the challenges and overcome the challenge, sometimes depending on the support around them, depending on the immediate environment, and depending on the resources they have. Some people are not able to do this, and when they are battling these challenges, we need to support them. So it's really prevalent. When you come to look at the Ghanaian society, the prevalence is there statistically, or when you come to look at what literature says, it really doesn't speak well, because if you even look at the numbers when it comes to mental health officers, they are really not available. And I can't, let me say, not many institutions have psychologists or mental health officers attached to their unit, the ONG unit, the Office and Ghana department. Not many institutions have that. And because these people are readily not available, sometimes they miss the diagnosis, and a lot of mothers go through a lot of pain bringing up children that they have given birth to. So it's prevalent. There are the statistics, data available in Ghana. Not they
don't really cover it
that much.
Wow, thank you. Well, I will move to Reverend Aaron, and then you will tell us what the causes are. What causes postpartum depression?
Thank you very much for this. You know, baby blues causes, basically, we say there are two. We have the physical, and then we have the emotional issues.
Okay.
You know, the physical, we talk about when there are some physical changes in the human person, where the estrogens begin to, the hormones, when you say the hormones begin to change or increase in the human person, then there is that loneliness, like Peter just mentioned. There's that loneliness, there's that low level of, or lack of interest in trying to tender, in trying to care, in trying to cuddle the baby that has been brought forth. So when the estrogens increase or they either decrease, then the person feels overwhelmed. The person feels like that I am very low now. I cannot do things. I'm tired. I am weak. All that. So the physical changes in the human person or the mother here really is a cause for baby blues, which will last 2 weeks, as we said. And the second one is the emotional issue. Emotional issue. What is the emotional issue? Sometimes when you give birth, you feel overwhelmed. You feel you have lost the interest in trying to care for the child you have given birth. Like you have given birth already, but here the interest in me, when the child is brought by the midwife and is now left on you, and just like, I don't have the interest.
How possible is that? Because we know that usually women are very, very excited when they are about to have their babies. And now you are telling me that it's possible for a mother to have a child and then the mother will lose interest in taking care of this baby?
You see, we have life situations or life challenges which are part of life as you are even going through the antenatal process. Okay? So during the antenatal process, the situations around you in this era could contribute adversely into the way you would like to care or tender for the child that you have given birth to. So let's take, for example, in case a situation whereby maybe someone is raped and was not prepared to give birth, and here is the case, the person has now given birth. So I was not even prepared for this, and it has happened. So that lack of interest is there. Who is this thing now? Okay. Or in a situation whereby you have given birth, and let's say the child is CP. Okay, if the child is CP.
CP is?
Cerebral palsy. Okay. And they bring the child to you. And immediately it is diagnosed that the child is CP. So when you see, I wasn't expecting this type of child. So you realize that now there is that attachment to the child is no longer, it's not there. So the person becomes so much depressed that this is not what I was expecting. And because I was not expecting this, then it puts the person in that length of detachment from the baby, the bonding from the baby, and then all that. So these are basically the two main factors that contribute into somebody having a postpartum depression because of the life situations, what happens even at childbirth, how the child was born at a particular instance and all that. And
okay. So then how will we be able to tell if someone is suffering from postpartum depression?
Yes.
What are the symptoms?
So the symptoms of postpartum depression are varied. Okay. The first one is fatigue, excessive fatigue. The person is so much fatigued after, if say the person had gone through a long period of labor, the person is now so fatigued that I don't even want to now attend to the child. So it is a symptom. So when the person is fatigued and doesn't even want to breastfeed the child. Another one is anxiety, severe anxiety. Severe anxiety is also a symptom. Crying excessively. The person can be crying, just looking at the child and is crying excessively. It's also a symptom. And we also look at maybe having trouble sleeplessness. That's insomnia. Having trouble sleeping. The person cannot sleep, and because the person cannot sleep, that's where the crying comes in. Excessive crying comes in because I'm not able to sleep. I'm thinking about so much and all that. So all these things, some of these are some of the causes of symptoms of postpartum depression.
Thank you. Are there some you'd want to add?
You see, you have mentioned about the physical and then the emotional issues. But see, there are some obstetric-related issues. So pregnancy-related complications, like preeclampsia and these related issues. Like so preeclampsia syndrome is a woman who is about to give birth, have some high BP, they are uncontrollable, and then even that thought alone that I was supposed to be delivering a baby and look at the complications that I've gotten myself into. He just mentioned the issue of rape. Some pregnancies are not planned. So when you don't plan it, and you even, there's, for one or two reasons, you have to carry that pregnancy to term. It can lead to that lowness in mood. You can carry the pregnancy to term but not completely ready for bearing that child or even nursing that child. And we have the psychological aspect. And the psychological aspect, we talk about the anxiety, we talk about stress, we talk about social issues, the environment in which the person finds themselves. And then when you come to even look at doubt about their, imagine that young lady who used to have that, they'll call it that erect breast, all of a sudden, it's now
a change in the body shape and form.
So this person is now beginning to wonder, how will I look like? How will my friends look at me? The dresses I have bought, how am I going to wear all these things? Then grieve about who they were and before and after delivery. So that pain that they go through, lack of interest. Lack of interest. So a lot of people, just like you mentioned, all of a sudden you were excited about pregnancy, but even after delivery, your expectations have not been met or something. Sometimes I was looking for a baby boy, I get a baby girl at delivery, then immediately anger can set in. And this person can feel that I am not wet. And then lack of free time. Imagine, caring for a child is not that easy, especially the first few months of life. So you're now beginning, all those outings and all those mini skirts and all those that I can't do them again. So these are about some of the causes that can lead to postpartum. Then beyond that, you talked about the signs and symptoms, and we can talk about trouble sleeping, just like Reverend mentioned. We can talk about the feeling of harming themselves or even the baby. Some mothers, even though they have lowness in mood, they also still feel that this baby, either I harm myself or the baby. And these are thoughts that run through a lot of mothers that have been traumatized. There's anxiety, there's guilt. Imagine somebody feels that, in fact, the boy I was probably dating or the man I was probably dating is not the one who impregnated me. You can see that guilt. Even though they have given birth, they feel that some guilt because this is not the person I wanted to have a child with. Unfortunately, for one or two reasons, something happened, and that was what happened. You carry the pregnancy to term, and you can feel that guilt for the rest of your life. There's hopelessness. They're scared. Some people are scared. Can I take care? How am I going to raise this little thing that is lying here to become an adult like me? You're scared. And in the midst of that feeling scared, some people become hopeless about life, and some people lose interest in the pleasure and most of the things they used to do. So, see that the signs and symptoms run a lot. So it can affect you, the mother, and see you, the mother, that you are supposed to have that bonding between the mom and the baby. It can affect that relationship, and by effect, some mothers don't immediately produce breast milk after birth just because anxiety. So they are not even sure. So they are there, and then if you don't have a health worker who understands this, you will see the woman in a different light, and that can affect their also as well.
So, Mr. Peter, these symptoms that you have described, how long would some of them last for? Are they long term or short term?
Because we are individuals and we cope with life challenges differently, it varies.
Okay.
But these are not supposed to be things that should linger on for a very long time. I mean, a mother who gives birth within the next few minutes should bounce back to life and do normal things. But if this prolongs for more than a week, 2 weeks, then there should be some questioning. Because under normal circumstances, birth should be a happy moment. So you give birth and you are supposed to be happy that I have given birth to a human being, it is God's gift. But if after some few minutes everything turns sadness for you, and that lingers on for a week plus, then you need to begin to be monitored and screened for other life challenges. And that is why the psychologists become very important in our health system, because we need to screen, and that's when you can even pick up depression, you can pick up anxiety, you can pick up stress-related issues, and you can help the mother deal with it better. Some people could just be the fact that they don't even know if they can take care of them, and they need words of encouragement. And that is why you probably go for antenatal, and you see, oh, I am not alone in this. There are other mothers who are taking care of their babies. So it means I can also do it. But if they are left alone and the world look like it is so gloomy, there's no hope, then they can get into the area of depression.
Great. So, Mr. Peter, you've almost delved into what my next question was, which is about what kind of help is available for these people who are going through postpartum depression. So tell me, what services are available, and who should someone who is going through postpartum depression look up to for help?
Just like a mother or a woman will attend antenatal services from the day you get pregnant, first month till you deliver, it is very important for that same mother also to look for mental health care. So it means that from day one, just like you're seeing your gynecologist, you're seeing your midwife, there's a need for your psychologist also. But the joy of this is that a lot of our midwives have some para-counseling skills. They may not be professional psychologists, they may not be professional counselors, but they have some skills that they have been, in the course of their training, were taught to assist the mother. So they're able to identify this. They do some bit of counseling. But we also want that when you are doing the counseling, you realize that this woman is not improving, you refer. So every mother will need a mental health checkup during the process of pregnancy, throughout to delivery, and even after delivery. And postpartum is after delivery. So that is why they will need them to see the psychologist, get involved in some one or two sessions before delivery. And so when that happens, the mom is more prepared, because in psychological care, what we do is that you're empowered. Empowered to take care of your own decision, feel the way you want to feel, and create the environment in which you want to live. So when you get the opportunity to meet a psychologist, what we do is to empower you, give you the enabling environment to take care of yourself. So by all this, it means that the advocacy is that every institution should have a psychologist. And when it comes to maternal health, can we have mental health professionals attached to, or even referred? Not everybody will go through pregnancy the same. Some people, for first pregnancies, dangerous. For other pregnancies, they are fine. So these people need to be able to be helped to know that pregnancy is part of life, and once you decide to get pregnant, there are certain things you will feel. It is not abnormal. So when they are assisted this way, they are more likely to accept the pregnancy. And the word is acceptance. Sometimes some people, they want to have all the joys of life, but when it comes to the pregnancy, then they want to say no. But when the pregnancy also comes, do take it, accept it, and do your part as a person. So we need our health system to engage more mental health officers, do advocacy at the antenatal clinics, do advocacy on radio station, and this is a bigger platform where we think mothers who are viewing this for now should appreciate what we are doing, learn from it, seek for support. So we need that education in our health system. We need health workers to also understand that that pregnant woman can have a mental health issue.
Okay.
And that is where we need, because sometimes among our health workers it is appalling that a lot of them do not really appreciate mental health. And then we need policies that will change to the directions where we can get mothers have opportunities to have psychologists, have opportunities to meet mental health workers, have opportunities to be heard and be attended to properly.
Wow. Yes. Thank you. So we should have opportunities to be heard and to be attended to properly. So I'll come back to Reverend Aaron. I'll ask, what are some of the complications that come with postpartum depression?
Okay, once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. See, when we look at postpartum, the PPD, the complication is in the various categories or the people involved. We can look at it from the complication to the mother, the child himself or herself, to the husband or the father of the child or husband to the wife, to the family in general. So we want to take it from the various categories. So now I want to look at it from the mother side.
The mother, okay.
For the mother, if postpartum depression is not treated, the complication is that it affects the bonding, the mother-child bonding.
Okay.
Because now I feel so much low that I don't even want to attend to this particular child. So that bond between the mother and the child is lost. Is affected or is lost. So growing up, they don't see themselves as really related to themselves. So that is one of the complications that the mother experiences, that the mother-child bond. The child is not suckling. I'm not giving my child breast. So, when a mother, as a mother, it is only when your child is able to suckle your breast or suck your breast that
you get the connection.
Or the bond. But if that thing is lost, no matter how, no matter the years that comes by, the child will not have that particular connection with you. So in postpartum PPD, if not treated, it can really cause a problem, this particular problem, bonding with the child.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the child born, the child is also affected, or the complication of the child is also affect the child in the behavioral development. When the child begins to develop some behavioral or behavioral developmental changes, sometimes it has difficulty in sleeping, difficulty in eating, and then changes because I've not had that connection with my mother. And because I've not had that connection with my mother, growing up becomes challenging for me. And once growing up becomes challenging for me, I'm not able to sleep because the one who is supposed to mother me hasn't mothered me. So that connection is not there. Now it comes to the family. Once all these things are connected with the child and the mother, there is that lack of bonding. The child is having difficulties or behavioral problems, is eating and then sleeping. Now it is extended to the entire family. There will be problems in the family because the child wouldn't see that association with the family that he or she is growing up. Because if it is the mother, the child doesn't really associate well with the mother's side. And then now there is that identity crisis with the child. Who is really my mother? Identity crisis. Who is my mother? And who am I myself? Who am I? So it now revolves within the family. The family sees the child as theirs, but the child doesn't see them as his or hers. So
the sense of belonging.
The sense of belonging in the family is also affected. Because I don't want to be part of them. That is how come you realize some people grow up that they don't want to go home. Because I have not had that sense of belonging. Being part of the particular family that I am coming from. And it goes up, and it affects the entire pyramid of, the family. And when you come to the community. It could lead to some misbehaviors in family because the person is having identity crisis. And once somebody begins to suffer from identity crisis, academically the person is affected, the child is affected.
Yeah, sure.
So the child goes to school, there is no that bond. So if the child is a boy, then the child begins to see women as not loving. Personally, I'll give a personal experience. Me, some people ask me, why do you study clinical psychology? This is actually what I went through. Because there was that lack of bonding between me and my mother.
Okay.
There was that lack of bonding. Although I entered seminary where I was helped by my professors, then I began to see the need why I should also now have the skill to also now help people to now identify themselves. Because for about 20 good years, I never knew my mother.
Wow.
When my mother came to me, I didn't even realize who my mother is at that adult age. Until 2014, I never wanted to speak with my mother because I never had that bond with my mother. I never had that bond with my mother.
This disconnect happened when you were a child.
I was a baby.
A baby.
So there was this disconnect. Up to now, with my father, my mother's family, there's that problem between, like, really, was she my mother? Are you getting that?
Yeah.
So now even with the family, I look at my mother's family. No, I don't really think this is my mother. When I was in GS3, my elder brother actually came with my mother. And I looked at him and said, no, this is not my mother. I don't think so because the one who raised me is not the person I saw to be my mother. So I had a problem growing up. So that is how other people, and it has affected my mother's family and myself, and we are not really united because I have gone through this problem, and that is the complication or the effect of postpartum depression on the family. Because now at a point the family even want to receive you, but because you are disconnected earlier, you don't feel I'm not welcome. I don't fit here. So that is the complications that.
Wow.
And PPD, brings to the individual, that's the mother, the child, and then the family, and even the father.
The father. I wanted us to talk about the father.
If in this case the husband the man is really the husband, and the pregnancy was not out of, wedlock or any other thing, and the man now is ready to accept. So you realize that there's going to be parental problem. There's going to be parental problem because the man and the woman is supposed to help the man, so the man will father the child, because in parenting you have mothering and fathering. That comes together to make fathering and parenting what it's supposed to be. But if the mother is now having baby blues, which has started up to 2 weeks, and it has grown up, the first suckling of a child is very important. And if the child lacks that, going forward, it will be affected. So you see that at the end, the man will also begin to suffer from depression. Because the person who is supposed to tender this child is not tendering the child and is having a problem. So at the end, you see that there will be that disconnection from the father and then the child.
Okay.
And going forward also to the mother.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. It means that in some way, everyone has a part to play, because everyone will get affected somehow by postpartum depression. Is there something you want to add?
Yes, so if you look at the aspect of the family, we have increased medical bills for the family, because if the mom will be experiencing this and may stay in the hospital for a very long time, means the bills will increase. And so the economic cost will be there for that family. And just like you mentioned, the psychological distress for all family members. I am the father, I am supposed to go to work, my wife is at the hospital with a baby that haven't come home. If you go to work, are you sure to have that mental stability to work? No. If other members, imagine, after birth, the joy is that we come and say hello, and then that's our culture. We come to say hello to the baby, the mother and the family. Now they come, the woman is in the hospital, the man is at home. People are distorted. So where am I going? Am I going to the hospital or coming to the family house? So you see that at the end of the day, a lot of family members go through a lot of stress. Can you just imagine having a single patient at the hospital? You have to probably send food, go to work, come back and send food, go back to work. I mean, how many working class individuals can do this at the end of the day? And when you look at it, at the end of the day, postpartum depression affects the nation as a whole. Productivity is affected because at the end of the day, the woman is at the hospital or is battling a challenge. The man will not have that peace of mind to even go to work. So his aspect of the productivity for the development of Ghana will be affected. And that same way, the woman that would have probably after 3 months of maternity leave would have gone back to work, who probably may need more months to stay at home or to attend to herself and feel better. So it means productivity is going to be affected. And at the end of the day, as a people, if we have a lot of mothers going through postpartum depression and nothing is done about it, what it means is that we are losing productive hours. We are losing the quality of bonding between the mom and the child. We are losing the quality of family relationship. And we are losing greatly the community bond that is always experienced when there is child in the family.
Okay, thank you very much. So I now want us to delve into COVID-19. Yes. So this is something we were not expecting, but it has happened. We have seen that we already have challenges in this area, and then COVID-19 has come on board. It comes with its own challenges and complications. So can you tell us how COVID-19 has affected this us in this particular area?
Yes, so if you look at maternal health, the statistics haven't been that good as a country, even though we're trying, because the maternal deaths are still happening. And they are happening because a lot of mothers do not get the necessary information and are not able to reach the facility appropriately. And when that happens, a lot of scarce resources are already being used. And so to save mothers, to assist mothers deal with the challenges. And now COVID-19 is here. Wasn't expected. All of a sudden, it has come to stay with us. And we're battling. So it means that even the scarce resources we use to battle with when it comes to maternal health, COVID-19 has come to even heighten it. Yes. Because mothers now are going to the hospital and they have to be extra precaution that has been put in place for them. So the cost is there. And to some mothers have even also gotten to the point where they may even feel reluctant going for the antenatal care because of contracting COVID. Yes. And because of that, some mothers who have certain complications may not be detected. And you see, in health, what is needed is early detection. So whatever that is in health, early detection is the paramount thing to do. So when anything, whether it is childbirth, it is hypertension, it is diabetes, if it is detected early, management is quite better. So if a mother is supposed to be having that leaking, cervix, and she's pregnant and the cervix is beginning to open and she doesn't go for antenatal care and they're not able to pick this early, that mother may lose that baby. And that's what COVID-19 has done to a lot of mothers. And because of because a lot of institutions tried as much as possible to put structures in place, but some mothers were still afraid. It was genuine fear. Yes, it is. But we needed to understand that in the midst of COVID, health workers were doing their best, and they have continued to do that. And we praise all our health workers for all that they have done. But what COVID has come to do is for the scarce resources we used to have in our health sector has become more scarce in the system, because if you used to deal with just one, now there's another challenge. You can imagine how you are going to divide your resources. There's no pressure on the already limited resources that were available in the health sector. Okay. So that's what COVID has come to do to us. So, any you want to add?
I think basically you said all that
about the issue of COVID and
the mental health issue.
Okay, so what the role of stakeholders in tackling the issue of postpartum depression? Let's take it from the health authorities. Okay. What have they done to help society to combat this menace of postpartum depression?
I'm a clinical psychologist, so I will speak from the clinical psychologist perspective. Okay. So that maybe Peter, who has been in the nursing side before, then they can now talk about. Okay. You see, I think from the psychological perspective, like we have just been saying and we are doing now, we as stakeholders partnering in the health sector and especially in the mental health sector, we are doing all our best to make sure that people are aware of this. As a lot of people don't even know that there is something called baby blues or postpartum depression. So our bid as clinical psychologists, our part we are playing by making sure we educate society in the health sector and others to know what postpartum depression is, and also avail ourselves for the service, to render services to people when they are really in need of our services. So we can render our service to them. We do the check-in, and then do the follow-up, do the therapy for them so that they will get better. But I know that the state has a role to play. A hospital facility, a medical facility has a role to play. And then the individual workers in the various facilities have a role to play, especially those working directly with mothers. They also have their own role to play. So I think at this particular point, Peter may be the very right person to really speak about what the health facility is talking about. I am in education, so I may not really be able to speak to facts.
But then also in education, we have students who get pregnant, they have babies, and they would have gone through postpartum. What
in that particular case, like as a counselor in a school, what we do is I normally invite people like health workers to come, midwives and others to come for specific talks or health programs on some of these issues. So we do that. But you know, what saddens us is that in the girl education service system, when a girl gets pregnant, the first thing is to make sure that the girl is sent home so that she will go and deliver. We give the person the necessary counseling not to abort the baby, and then invite the parents to talk with them for them to know. And that is where the whole thing ends. So after because the child cannot come to the school again. The child,
so you are no longer involved.
Can no longer come to the school. So there is no involvement of the previous counselor. And also going forward, because the reason is that the child is not coming to the school because we don't want others, the students who knew her, to have a kind of a stigma on her. So while the child is also going there, that particular confidentiality is blocked so that nobody gets to know her previous life. So there is actually a very little that the Ghana Education Service can do for pregnant mothers in this particular perspective.
But what do you think should have been the right thing?
Fine. For me, I think, like Peter mentioned, a particular word that really is very, very important: acceptance.
Acceptance.
Okay. The fact that the child or the girl has gotten herself pregnant and while still in school, there is nothing wrong after the child goes to give birth and comes back and then is not in the same school, and that will even help for her to use her own experience. I remember I was doing orientation for a particular year, those currently in second year. I was doing orientation. I never knew a girl is in the school, that she has given birth. So we are now doing orientation, we're talking about sex and sex life. So as there was a flow of questions for students to answer questions, they got opted out and then came to speak using her own self
as an example,
and what her colleagues should do so that they will prevent whatever she went through. I think that is a good sign. If that girl was in the school or the formal school, she could have been a source of reference for others to see that, no, this person, then she could even help the others better. So I think going forward, guidance and counseling centers in the schools should be resourced. And we get qualified persons, because most of the guidance and counseling centers or units in the senior schools especially are not being mined by professionals. Most of the schools don't even have professional counselors. They don't have professional psychologists. So once a teacher is a teacher, and it saddens the fact that some schools, they even appoint guidance and counseling coordinators based on years in the service. Oh, this person has been there for so long. This person doesn't like talking.
So the person has no experience whatsoever.
They only see guidance and counseling as advising. So once the person is early, the person doesn't talk and is very quiet, they just push him, go and sit in the guidance and counseling office. So the person is inexperienced. So when children come with such situations, they are inundated, they are unable to help the situation. So what policymakers can do is to resource guidance and counseling officers and make sure that they are even posting professional counselors, even if they are not supposed to teach, but just post professional counselors to the various secondary schools, so that they are just there as school counselors or psychologists, so that they can attend to the needs of both the boys and girls in the school. Then they are able to even know how to even cater for themselves, even to avoid pregnancy and prepare them while they're going through anxiety, depression, and all that. They can prepare them very well. And also make sure that there will be follow-ups. There will be follow-ups after when the child is now going out of the school to go and deliver. There should be follow-ups. Because if you just advise the person, the parents, you invite the parents to come and you advise them, once they are going, you don't know what they are going to do there. And because the guidance and counseling officer is ill-resourced, I cannot use my own resources. For example, if I'm in Tamale and the girl is in the Yendi, how will I get to Yendi to now go? So if we are able to resource and we link up, we can even link up with the counselor in Yendi. This person is coming to this particular place. Now I'm linking up to this person. Then the person can even be going there for further attention. But once we are not able to do that, then we cut off the prostitution. I think that's what Ghana Education Service or in the education sector we can do. It means
a lot still has to be done in the education sector. A lot still has to be done. Mr. Peter,
yes.
I want you to jump into this one.
Yes. So when you look at the health sector, for instance, I think what has been done is the equipping of our midwives. But they are the first contacts.
They are the first points of
all
call.
The pregnant mothers and girls and boys, pregnant mothers.
And the boys
so,
are part of it.
So when they come, they don't use a friendly environment. It means that the next time the boy will not come or the husband will not come. But you see, what happens in the Ghana health sector is that a lot of our midwives have some big training.
Okay.
From the schooling, after training, they go some post-basic courses. And some of them have some counseling related.
Okay.
They go through some basic counseling as to how to be able to deal with a lot of the mothers. So when it comes to, contraceptives, they go through contraceptive counseling to be able to help mothers. When it comes to pregnancy, they go through pregnancy counseling to be able to help all the mothers. And what they do is fantastic. Sometimes, yes, they may be limited, but that is the best we have for now. Let's make use of it. Some of us go to the hospitals and our midwives. I mean, every morning you go to the antenatal clinics and they have different topics that are being discussed. Unfortunately, a lot of mothers, what they do is that, oh, I am pregnant, I want to give birth. What is this, all this? But you see, it's all part of it. Some people will tell you, oh, you're going to school, when they see you hold the book and you're going for classes. And they see, they look like they are making fun, but you see, there's a lot of learning going on. And in those forums, or those fora, is when they have the mental health officers, is when they get the nutritionists, is when they get the dietitian, is when they get the psychologist, is when they get the gynecologist, and almost everybody within the hospital sector to speak to them. But the reality is that because they come and the numbers, sometimes the numbers are overwhelming, it's challenging to be able to get everybody. But in the morning, there's always a fair session, like 30, 45 minutes, 1 hour, depending on the facility, to talk to mothers about their nutrition, about their self-care, about their personal hygiene, and so many things. I mean, and these are the reasons why we thought mothers who go for antenatal should pay attention to what the nurses and the health professionals are telling them. And Ghana herself for doing all this. So beyond that, what I will say to our midwives and some of our professionals in the maternity area is to tell, if you detect a mother who has a challenge or a woman that has a challenge, please do not hesitate to refer. Yes, the challenges are that we really do not have a lot of mental health officers or mental health professionals. But we have some individuals who have been trained in one way or the other taking through some basic counseling skills.
Okay.
Can we always involve them in the care that we give to our client? So if you know very well, oh, this case, for instance, the way the client is responding to me, I think we need the services of a counselor. We need the services of a psychologist. We need the services of a mental health practitioner. Please do refer. And in the health system, referral doesn't mean you don't know. I mean, when I have an opportunity and I talk to health workers, a practitioner who refers is a very knowledgeable practitioner. He knows his limit. He knows his professional ethics. And he knows that this particular case I am not supposed to handle. Let them move to the next level. And we have it. As of now, at Tolek, we have people calling for one or two. And I know within the talent teaching also where we have a lot of we have the psychologists in health being based. Almost all the departments in the hospital are referring. So when you refer, that is when we can be able to help you treat the client and be able to link the client to appropriate professionals that need to be given the help that they give for them. Okay,
so now, Mr. Peter, most of our women still deliver at home. Yes. And in our communities, we have leaders. We have women who take charge of women who have given birth. We have others. How can they help?
Yes. You see,
because sometimes even after these women have given birth, in the hospital, they are okay. Maternity ward, you stay for over 6 hours or more, you are discharged, you go home, and these symptoms begin to show at home. When you're no longer in sight of the professional. Yeah. What should we do at this point?
Yeah, so what we need at this level is what is termed communal support. We are known as a people, let's say for Ghana, for instance, what we are known, we are noted for hospitality. Can we exhibit that hospitality when there is a woman within the community? You see, every pregnancy has its own challenges. That a woman A delivered and the following 3 months she started work, doesn't mean woman B will also go through this thing. So don't compare them. So what they need is support. And the support comes from understanding. And when you look at our traditional birth attendants, those who call TBAs, they are kind of like an analogous form of the midwives that we have in our health system. They are wonderful people. And that's what the Ghana Health Service has tried to train some of them. Because there are some people, for one or two reasons, they say, I will not deliver the hospital. So if the TBA is well prepared, is able to pick some of these things, they can get them referred to appropriate places. But the basic point is that there must be some support. And the support must start from home. Don't say, oh, but the last time when you delivered, you didn't behave this way. No. Every pregnancy will come with its own challenges.
Somebody even as weaklings.
Exactly. So that she gets delivered and she's doing as if she's the only one whatever. Please, when you do that, you demoralize the mother, and she may not openly seek for help that she needs. Some mothers may be going through a lot of challenges. But what they need is a supportive voice, a cuddling hand around them, and they will tell you a lot. And sometimes we hear that a problem shared is half solved. But I most of the time say a problem shared empathetically with a listening ear is half solved. Because sometimes you can share the problem with somebody who probably that is not empathetic. So you're rather compounding the problem. But that is where our mothers who have delivered before, if you have a young lady who have delivered, should be supported. You have experienced it before and you know it wasn't easy. So this is the time this other young lady will need you to support. Even bathing that little baby. They are quite slippery, I mean, they're bathing them and then you are like, can I? So what they need is social support. And social support must come from understanding that all pregnancies are not the same and all women are not the same. Even one woman, first pregnancy could be very fantastic. The second pregnancy could be a different thing. And though what they need is support. Husband must support, the other family members must support, and we must involve people who matter. Sometimes by virtue of the woman delivers and she's very far away, all that she needs is that, okay, I would have wished that my mom is closer to me and taking care of my baby. The husband says, your mom cannot come here. And you see, immediately there's a barrier, and that can bring a lot of challenges. So we need to allow sometimes the wishes of the woman come to play. Well, what is it? It's a baby. It's a grandmother. If I say let my grandmother be, my child's grandmother be around, what is wrong with that? But we know we have some families that it is difficult to have this consensus built, and when that happens, the woman can feel bad. But what our traditional or community members can do is less support. Sometimes let's not wait to get the bad out of an individual. Just like somebody will say, sometimes we are waiting to cross rivers to go for the funeral of somebody, but we are not ready to cross a single street or even a street to help that person. When you do that, you are killing the people. So let's cross the street quickly and help the people who are low mood or who are experiencing challenges after birth. Because childbirth is not easy, and the child is for a community, not for that individual. Because when that child becomes that doctor, that psychologist, that social worker, it is all of us who benefit. Today, the whole of Ghana is benefiting because we have a president. If his parents didn't support, would he have become president? Would he have been gotten all that education? So the child is a community product, and we must support the upbringing of that child.
Wow, that's a lot going on. Talking about some of the interventions, you notice that Savannah Signatures had this project. It was running in some facilities. They had the KSS going on when during the antenatal period, the mothers would go, and then when the health practitioners are doing the health talk, they call it, they would educate them on some of the things they should expect during pregnancy. Also, there was a point when we took their phone numbers and would send out messages to them depending on the duration of their pregnancy to tell them what to expect at every stage of the pregnancy. So Savannah Signatures is doing its bit. Do you know of other organizations or CSOs that are holding this fort and are also helping in the fight of postpartum depression? I know that Tolek is also partnering with Savannah Signatures. This is one of the initiatives we are taking, but are you aware of other organizations, or will there be a call out to other organizations to join in the fight?
Yes. So I think it's commendable what Savannah Signatures have done in the north. If you look at now, Savannah, Northern Region, Northeast, and then the Volta region. We are excited that you have taken such a bold step in an area that a lot of people don't want to talk about. All that we are interested in, that we are ready to be with the women, but when there's pregnancy, there's everything, then we want to pull away. But the reality is that pregnancy demands a lot, and what you have done for like 4 or 5 years is commendable. And I know a lot of women who gave birth at that time that your project was running will have a testimony to tell. And your social media handle speaks very much when it comes to your maternal projects that you have carried out. And even the girl child activities. You see, it begins from the morning. If the girl child is not well formed, maternal issues will have challenges. And so, and what you are doing, we want to commend you. As to whether organizations are, I know there are some organizations that are doing their part. Possibly there are challenges that they're not getting the publicity, they don't have the media to be rich. But those people too, we want to commend them for that. But want to call on to everybody who are doing one activity or the other in relation to maternal health. Please do your part very well. Even though we're not seeing you, we're probably not hearing what you're doing. But that little single matter that you have helped is very important. Let me add this. You see, every pregnancy is delicate. That single pregnancy you were able to support till the end, that child will forever be grateful to you. And that's what we need in our system. You may not have the muscle to say take care of a community, but that single individual you have taken care of, that child will forever be thankful to you. And for us, our maternal project in the area of mental health, so maternal mental health project, which we aim to do mental health education in a good number of facilities running ANC services, is that we want to educate the mothers. Anxiety about childbirth, anxiety surrounding developmental issues. You're there, and then a full human being, you're walking and they say the baby is kicking. Yes. And sometimes they show you, oh, look at even the legs. Yes. The mothers can become very scared. This is the same a mother who is working, she's pregnant, she has a family to take care of. You come and this mother, maybe the first pregnancy, first 3 months, this mother is unable to even do certain basic household chores. She's a weak woman, a lazy woman. They begin to label you differently, and not knowing that this person is going through some challenges. So that's why we took up the maternal mental health project to be able to educate mothers, knowing very well that mental health also exists among our maternal mothers. Mental health exists among our pregnant mothers, and there's the need for them to know, to seek for early help, that's early detection, prevention, and you'll be there. And that's why we say we're doing what is termed preventive mental health. Okay. Preventive because even when it comes to mental health, the medications which is the tail end of every mental health services, not available in Ghana. So if we wait till everybody gets to the point of needing medication, are we going to be helpful? And that's why we say let's do preventive mental health, so that people get to understand, so that they know how to manage their thought, know how to manage their emotions, and know how to act in the midst of challenging emotions and thought. So at the end of the day, the mothers are helped, everybody is happy that there's a new addition to the family. So what we are looking for is to partner with more organizations to be able to deliver this maternal package that we have for our mothers, and by extension for our younger girls at the lower level. And again, you can't talk about maternal health without talking about the father. Because the man is a key factor when it comes to maternal health. Who has put that woman in that state? It is the man. So when you talk about maternal health and then you're like, oh, it is maternal, so it must be woman, then we are missing it. That man must be involved. That boy friend must be involved. That man that has something to do with that pregnancy must be involved. And when they are well educated, they will understand, oh, first trimester is like this. So for first trimester, when I come home and there's no food, my clothing are not washed, or some activity about household chores are not done, understand that, oh, this woman will be going through some challenges. So can I do one of them? Can I support? So the support of the man is very, very paramount. I know we found ourselves in a culture or in a tradition that a lot of people do not appreciate the man doing household chores. But you see, those days that we did, everything was done by the woman in the house. Is because the men were out in the field there working. And so they will come home expecting everything to be ready. Today, you are in the field working, the woman is in the field working. And you come home and you still expect what my grandfather experienced to be experiencing today. Then you are not a transformed man of the 21st century. Yes, so being transformed men in the 21st century. Reverend, I want you to quickly, 1 minute, take on what GES is doing in the schools. So when I was in school, they'll teach us abortion, they'll teach us the changes in the female and everything. But no one ever mentioned postpartum depression. No one ever even said that there's a point where probably a woman would be sick after she had given birth. What is going on? Is GS aware of this? And is there any form of education in the classroom?
Thank you very much. It's a very, very important question that you've asked. And I think the challenge that GES has is because we have left everything to individuals. There is no central source for programs to be handled. Why do I say so? You know, in 1980, guidance and counseling became part of the educational system in Ghana. And this whole education aspect is what the guidance and counseling officers or coordinators ought to be doing. But that has been thrown to the dogs. Why was it has been thrown to the dogs? In as much as we still have the guidance and counseling officers in schools, one of the challenges is that even some guidance and counseling officers don't have officers. And they don't have the resources. Because I am a clinical psychologist and I man the guidance and counseling office. But I don't know all the health issues. So what I need to do is that as part of my program, you are the one to coordinate programs. So you need to now, as part of your academic program, to put in this program and that program.
Okay.
Then the school or the system provides you with resources. So I can now invite the resource person to now come. For example, if I'm inviting Peter to come and have a talk in the school, of course I cannot just call Peter to come and I just leave him like that.
But then you are also a guidance and counseling person, so you can...
I am saying, of course, you see, sometimes it is good when, even though you are the professional, but when you bring a colleague. When I was in Ghana Senior High School as a counselor, what I did was, I normally exchange with my colleague in Tamale Girls.
Okay.
I will go to Tamale Girls. And then when it is my turn, I will bring her to my school.
Okay.
And she will come and do like we have. So we know what to do. So I coach the students what we should ask so that the whole thing will flow.
Okay.
So if we're able to do that, because we knew ourselves and we knew what we wanted to achieve from our officers. But here is the case, I don't have any link with another counselor. So if I am inviting a counselor or I am inviting a professional on different topics apart from clinical psychology, the person is coming. You need to give the person at least something. The person will have to drink water. But here is the case, there are no resources.
Yeah.
And look at the way our academic program has been structured. There is no time for students for any other activity. Because from morning 7 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the evening, they are engaged in the classroom. There is no space for them to have any other education. When they finish off, certainly they are supposed to go and rest. And after resting, they will come back, go and eat, and after eating, they are going back to preps.
So we really just need to factor time.
From bed to classroom, classroom to bed. So there's no time over there. And again, we don't have the professionals to even know that guidance and counseling, it means that I am supposed to coordinate the future of the children. What do I need? I need to bring in after the orientation that I've given them to know the school environment and all that. Even their health, their mental status is very important. So I need to draw programs where I can invite professionals to at least come. What I used to do, or what I've been doing, is that entertainment days, what we did was, I met with management because I'm part of management. We said that entertainment is not always dancing and all that. So the entertainment days, out of the whole term, guidance and counseling have 2 slots.
Okay.
So the 2 slots, you draw your program and you factor in a particular counseling program. So that is when you cannot bring in somebody to come. But if you are in an institution where the institution does not think outside the box in this way. So you see everything to be what? Dancing. Yes. Everything to be all that entertainment kind of thing without any education. And some institutions even have it that on Fridays, for example, Tamale Girls, on Fridays, they have what we call guidance and counseling days. That is so in the evening there's no preps. Yes. So instead of the preps, now you do compulsory guidance and counseling programs. So every fortnight, you do one Friday is counseling days, the other Friday is religious activity days. So if we have we done education service, especially the guidance and counseling unit from Accra, we could all have a unified way of doing things. This is a particular institution's initiative, our initiative, but others don't do that. So at the end, you see that we lack. Yes. So I think that is what we should do. And
wow, it's been a very interesting session. Our time is fast gone. I'd want to pick a quick word in less than a minute for both of you. So, Mr. Peter, kindly give me your very last words in less than a minute.
Yeah, for last words to commend Savannah Signatures for what we do and for this great opportunity and collaboration. But see, we all need to build stronger social support system and network that we can rely on in times of crisis. That is what we need at the national level, at the community level, at the institutional level. We need that support so that at the end of the day, all of us know very well that if I'm in a challenge, there is a particular support system available for me. And in mental health, social support is the greatest of all that we need.
Stronger support systems. Reverend Aaron.
Yeah, once again, like Peter did say, we want to commend, Toleg would like to commend Savannah Signatures for the great opportunity, the partnership that we've had with we have with you for this particular program. And like he also equally mentioned, as individuals, we should also do our part. You see, whenever we are experiencing any other thing in our lives, we shouldn't shy away from seeking professional support from the professionals. It is when we seek the support that we can be supported. Because if you don't bring out your situation, nobody will know what you are going through. So let us bring it out, and then the support will be there for you.
So come out, talk about your situation so that you can get the appropriate help that you need. Schools are closed, but it's not a holiday. This has been another Savannah Signatures intervention partnered by Educants International. We are still going to go through this tomorrow. We have another session, and tomorrow will be the World Mental Health Day, and so we will be live again. We'll be streaming live again on Facebook. Please join us while we have this discussion. It will be a very interesting session again. We will have again a strong panel here who would help us to do the discussion. But for today, it's been nice reaching out to you again, and I hope that we meet you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.